Welcome to 80 Million Listeners podcast. This is Kimberly, Danek, Pinkson, and 80 Million Listeners is a call to action and an emerging global community rooted in the belief that deep, embodied listening to the wisdom of nature, including one's own inner nature, can change everything. Each week, we bring you conversations with thinkers and doers who have heard the call and are listening and leading with the most brilliant design and systems thinker ever, the 3.7 billion year old wisdom of nature. Nature has all the answers we need. It's time to listen. And today I am so thrilled to welcome my dad, Dr. Tom Pinkson, as our featured speaker for the day. Hey, Pops.
Hey.
You're on.
Thank you. Good to be
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I would just like to take a moment to give thanks for each of you who is listening here live with us today, or whatever time in the world that you end up listening to this. And thank you for your interest in listening deeper to the wisdom of nature and your own inner nature. And Dad, thanks for being a leader in this space and certainly helping teach Nicole and I and the grandsons how to be at least trying to be good listeners. And thank you to all of the ancestor spirits who I feel guide us and the spirits of the place that we sit today and where each of you sits today. And thank you for this moment to be alive and to be here together and everything that had to go right for us to be here today. So, anything you want to add on to that gratitude this morning?
Yes, praise be. Praise be. I want to double up the gratitude to all of those of you who are listening, listening in your own time. Thank you for your support of your attention in coming and listening, and also the support of your financial support. All of it gives me like wind under my wings. You give me wind under my wings. So great appreciation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. So today, this past 2 weeks, I guess going back actually to February, the Santa Barbara Illuminate Film Festival, a couple weeks ago. And Lynn Twist was one of the opening night speaker. And one of the things she talked about was reframing COVID as morning sickness, so that it was, despite its awfulness and tragicness for millions of people around the world, there was an element to it that was the sickness that we as a human species and our planet was going through, that then can open up to birthing something new. And then Andrew Smythe, one of our co-hosts here, he and I were meeting with an amazing woman named Jude Curavan the other day, who you'll all get to meet soon too. She was a CFO of 2 different multinational companies and all kinds of different things. And then she went and got a few more degrees, and now she's a cosmologist and futurist and all kinds of cool stuff. But she talked similarly about turning the meta crisis, which we talk about, there's so many things challenging and hard for us in today's world, or many of us at the same time, and a feeling of systems collapsing. So she talked about turning from meta crisis to metamorphosis. So we've got turning COVID into morning sickness to begin a collective pregnancy, if you will, of birthing something new and beautiful. And then Jude Curavan talking about moving from meta crisis to metamorphosis. So I think those are both really wonderful ideas. And with your amazing background and skills, I was going to ask you to guide us in a little reflection, just to hear let's just first hear what you think about that.
Well, I think we can, we can't go wrong by listening to Mother Nature. We can't go wrong by paying attention to the great cosmic cycles of life and death and rebirth. And we can't go wrong paying attention to that with humility, with receptivity, and with quality attention. And I think we've been doing a lot of wrong things, if you want to put that label on it, judging wrong in terms of being in violation of abuse, disregard, paying attention to and living in harmony and balance with nature's cosmic cycles. And that's why we have a lot of the problems we have today. what it brings up for me is just affirming, validating, underlining, exclamation points, front and back and top and bottom of, yeah, the only way we're going to get through this crisis to the other side, with the possibility of that other side being a healthy and harmonious and peaceful and just and beautifully diverse win-win world for all. That's the other side, that what we're all capable of as human beings creating. That's the kind of world we're capable of creating. And if we're going to realize that highest potential of our being here, which is the creation of that kind of world, and then living in it and supporting it and enjoying it and passing it on to the next generations on down the line, is pay attention to Mother Nature, her cycles, her rhythms, her wisdoms, her teachings that she's always giving to us from whatever direction you look. You go outside, and whatever direction you look, above and below Mother Nature, the wisdom of the great creating wisdom power of the universe manifesting through nature is giving us teachings, medicine, information. So the more we can open ourselves up, which means humility. It means letting go of thinking with our ego identities and all the gifts of our rational minds and ideas and discoveries, that we open with humility to living in a field of infinite sacred mystery, a field of infinite possibilities. And this instrument of our mind, we haven't learned to use it as skillfully as we have the potential to use it. And paying attention to how nature works out there, so to speak, will help us be able to work with the nature inside of ourselves, and ultimately, through spiritual practices, open and dissolve the doorway of separation between what's out there and what's in here, and see and live from the interconnectedness that we're gifted to be a part of. So that's what it brings up for me.
That all sounds pretty good. I think I can agree with you on all that.
Yeah.
And I know some days it's a little bit harder than others to get out of the stuckness and remember that we can turn metacrisis to metamorphosis and yeah, shift our energies. So could you take us through a guided visualization this morning about when we're feeling stuck? It makes me think of like a caterpillar in a chrysalis, right? And the we go through this process of muckiness sometimes to be able to emerge. So if you could take us through a visualization on that this morning, please.
Yes, ma'am. Here to serve.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I'd like to invite us all to drop into the power of our mind to be able to image, to imagine, to create a vision, a feeling sense of whatever we want to create on this inner plane. So I'd like to invite us to drop into the inner theater, bringing the gift of our awareness into our inner theater with awareness, gratitude that we're being breathed in this moment. The creative power of the universe obviously wants us here alive on this day because it's breathing life force into us to empower our lives, and it's, if we're paying attention, it's giving us opportunity with each breath, with slowing down to be with each breath, as if we're sitting on the shore at the beach, watching the undulations of the ocean from far away and moving closer and closer to shore, and eventually forming up into waves and doing their wave dance, coming closer to the shore and breaking into foam and dissolving and running up onto the shore, and then slowly back into the sea, in and out. And so too, the ocean that we can envision in our imagination as we sit on the beach watching it slows, the ever continuing flows of waves. So too helps us to attune our sensitive awareness to how we're being breathed, how we're being breathed. And with the gift of our awareness as we're being breathed in this moment of being alive, the only time we can ever experience whatever we want to experience, we allow our awareness to go through the pipes in our bodies. And notice any places where there's congestion or constricted or tight energy, knots of energy. stuck, constricted together, blocking passage of healthy energy, corporeal flow through the tubes, through the pipes. Just notice those places, and you might experience those places as tension or constriction, or the energy of sadness or depression or fear or anxiety or negative thoughts of ourselves, who we are, what we've done or haven't done. And just noticing all of those sensations or feelings, however you might experience them in your pipes. None of them pleasant, if that's what you're noticing in the congestion. And the very fact that you're noticing the somatic sense of those energies that are suffering, that are hurting, that are sad or frightened or confused or feel overwhelmed or out of control or like giving up or shut down, or however it might be, just blessing our humanness, number one, just letting go of any judgments about whatever it is we're feeling. Just if there's any negative judgments about what we're feeling, taking power that comes to us from knowing, bringing our attention to knowing that those are stories. They're stories we're telling ourselves that create a feeling, an energy state. And when we see those stories that create an energy state of suffering, we're empowered to pull the plug on them, cut the cord, release, let go, breathing out. And with the breath that flows in that we don't create, and so gratitude for the creative power of the universe giving us this breath of life, this gift of life on this day. Bringing healing compassion into those places where there had been constriction, tightness, inflammation, hurting, woundedness in some way, the sensations of that are really the wisdom of the organism calling our attention. Said, hey, I need some love down here. I'm feeling frightened. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling hopeless. I'm feeling helpless. I'm feeling whatever it might be. I'm hurting. I'm lonely. I'm scared. I'm tired. Over those places. Instead of labeling any of that as judgment, negative judgment, an expression of the wisdom inside of us, calling our attention to something inside of us. It might be a place in our physical bodies, on the physical plane. It might be emotional, spiritual, mental place. Calling for love, calling for tenderness. And just notice with the breath coming in, we can open to tenderness. Just notice how tender the breath comes in. It doesn't come in with a force, with a push, with a it comes in so soft and so tender. If we're not paying attention to it, present with our awareness, it happens without any awareness. And without awareness, usually the breath is a general statement, of course, always exceptions. But if we're not paying attention to our breathing, because we're living in such a fear-based, polarized world right now, then most likely we're breathing shallower than we could be breathing, because there's constriction, tightness in the chest and the shoulders and the back and the jaw, and just to protect ourselves from all the onslaughts of fear and stimuli energy that's happening in the field. And so again, gift of our awareness, noticing the truth of what's happening. We can either tell ourselves a story that makes us victim to what's happening. Poor me, I'm powerless to do anything about this and except suffer. Just noticing, and old breath leaves, new breath comes in, clean and fresh, and we open to it with awareness that we can co-create with that fuel of life, a different story. A story It says, the wisdom of my body is calling me within to bring love and tenderness and compassion and support and caring. Breathing in light, breathing in love, letting it go to those places on all levels of our multi-dimensional being, physical body, that flow of light, love, energy, mental, emotional, spiritual, body being fed, nourished, starlight polished with each new breath in and each cleansing breath out. And remembering everything starts with intention. Everything starts with intention, a thought on the inner plane, a vision on the inner plane, a feeling. Noticing we have the ability, if we choose it, and we're free to choose, to use this next breath to help us open our awareness to love's presence. Just that. Open. Here comes this breath. Use it to flow through us to open our awareness to love's presence. We don't need to ask or pray or beg, cry for love. It flows into us with the breath. As it flows into us and we open to it and let it flow through smoothly through those pipes, cleaning, cleansing, transforming, suck energy into open flow of more healing light and love coming through with the next breath. We can give ourselves permission to notice in the midst of whatever our struggles and challenges are, what are the gifts of grace in our lives right now? What are the gifts of grace that we have to be thankful for? Not what we should be thankful for by anybody else's programming or notions, but the truth inside of you, the truth inside of us as we listen in our hearts. What do I have to be thankful for that's sweet in my life? But just taking a pause in the silence to notice what comes up from the depths of the wisdom and truth in you in response to what do I have to be thankful in this moment of being alive that is sweet in my life. And this question creates a vibrational response that will continue on in you as we continue with this program. But before bringing our attention back to Kimberly, noticing whatever your sense is, the source of what is sweet in your life, what your feeling, sense, belief is, the source of what is sweet in your life. Sending out from your heart gratitude to the source, the creative wisdom power source. Sending a beam of light, gratitude, appreciation. Thank you, Creator, for the opportunity to be alive in this moment. Open our awareness to your presence, contributing to the blossoming of 80 million awakened hearts and souls for the healing of the sacred. Big breath in. Let's breath out. Open our eyes. Come back into Kimberly Pinkson. Oh.
Thank you. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
A reminder that that 80 million number is just 1% of our human citizenry here on the planet. So that's where that came from, because that seems very attainable, that 80 million of us could be reconnected with our listening skills and ability. Is that a thumbs up?
Yep.
Awesome. So thanks for being here. My prayer for each of us and all of you today is that we remember that we are not separate, that we are rooted in the soil here and the oceans, all the different waterways, the plants, the animals, all the people, all the life. We're all connected.
Yeah.
and that become a source of joy and healing and love and laughter for all of us as we move forward. So sending you all a good heartbeat listening for the week ahead to the heartbeat of the earth and your own heartbeat, and sweet medicine to you.
Vaya con Dios.
Thanks.